Hello? Hello? You still there? What do you mean you missed me? I'm still here. Hi. There I am. There I am. Had me worried for a second. So there we go. Feels weird to come from a stream like that. So basically, I was fully intending on giving you guys another puzzle with that, to be like, hey everyone, let's all, you know, time to get those brains in gear when you're still trying to process something emotionally, you know. So I don't really know what music to play, because obviously the songs in the ASMR are all from Licked, and so I would need to get another license, and no other music really feels appropriate at the moment. I'll try and put on this one song from the game that... Oh no, I don't have it on this character. I can find it on YouTube, hold on. Kawaki, thank you for the super. Hello. And Koopa, thank you for the super. Angelia, thank you for the super. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the stream. So, I had... the interesting thing about this one is that... You know what, I was going to play something else, but Iowa Lament actually does make sense. It's very melancholic, so I guess that one works. Ah, that's good. Gives us a bit of levity. So, that stream came to me when I was basically like, I was just scrolling and I saw this one really short video of a polar bear in like an aquarium, and there was nothing particularly like emotional about this video. It wasn't sort of laying down an emotional concept. But the song was by Sigur Rós, the Icelandic band that did most of the music from the ASMR. And when I listened to it, I was like, oh, I've heard this music before. I've heard these people before. And then I went and listened to a bunch of their music, and suddenly I was like, oh yeah, what about this? Something about the tone just really gave me this vibe about it. Just felt like to me it was about death, and I thought about the fact that I've been around so much death like in my life. I've seen it happen so often. I've seen so many people go through it, and I kind of wanted to do something where it felt like I could really break down what makes grief so, you know, what makes it so scary. But I think a big thing about it that I really wanted to talk about was that Pope Francis quote about hell being empty. I always tear up a little bit when I think about that quote, because it's so profoundly empathetic. It's like so almost non-human to be that forgiving, and that, you know, to believe that in every person, no matter what they've actually done, that fundamentally all people are good. And that everyone has the capacity not necessarily to repent, because Pope Francis wasn't that kind of guy. He wasn't a dogmatic pope. You know, he was kind. So I think more than anything, I just kind of wanted to make something where, because I know what it's like to, you know, really feel quite scared of dying. I wanted to make something that felt like no matter what part of death you were afraid of, that it would just make it feel like it's not quite so scary anymore. There's this, there's a one tweet about it. There's this one tweet about it where it's like, I hope that death is like falling asleep. That is like when you're a kid and you fall asleep at a party and your parents take you to the next room. You can still hear everybody, you know, you can still hear them laughing from the next room. I really like that because I know that when we're dead, we are connected to who we were when we were alive. In a sense, there really is no such thing as truly dying, because you'll always move on to the next step. In some way, you might leave this life behind, this version of you behind, but there will always be a chance to do it again. And I find myself getting I feel very heartbroken when I think about, when I think about people who die unexpectedly, like people who are doing something a bit, let's say, daring. You know, a story recently about some divers in the Maldives who, you know, 5 people who went missing and, you know, presumed dead, and they, it's like the worst accident that's ever happened in the history of the Maldives or whatever. And the fact that all of those people just were going for a dive and they never came back. I get very sad when I think about the fact that people may not get the death that they perhaps wanted or deserved, and I kind of wanted to create something in my own little way. You know, it's not like a, you know, something that will change everything, but I think it does have the capacity to be there in the back of someone's mind, in like in a flash before death, for them to think about and maybe feel a little bit comforted by. Yeah. There is a lot of death in the world at the moment. There is. I know that there is peace and love after death. I know that there is. It's just, to me, that is a fact. There is too much about life that doesn't track within the nihilistic view that on death everything ceases to exist and we just go back to being asleep. I know that isn't true. When someone has a vision of someone they love being in trouble and like goes to help them, and there's no evidence that they are in trouble, but they just know it, they feel it, I know there's more. I know there is. So, yeah, I think more than anything, it was a challenge for me to create something so heavy and emotional while also trying to make something that was very comforting. I also think it's because it's really good and healthy to cry. If we cry, when we cry, it encourages you to think and feel things that maybe you were apprehensive about feeling to their fullest beforehand. So, if you manage to feel something in the moment, you might learn more about yourself and about what you're afraid of than perhaps you would have otherwise, and that might sort of be a catalyst for some further growth and feeling better in the future, feeling more prepared for those emotions in the future. I think about a time when I didn't cry. There was a time when I very rarely cried. I remember a time when it had been years since I had cried, and then I got in a fight, and I very nearly lost my life. I had, someone was putting their fingers in my eyes and was really, making an attempt on my life. And thankfully they didn't get to. But after that experience, I was so in shock, even though I've been through plenty like it before. I was so in shock that I sat there and I cried, and for some reason I tried holding it in. I really tried to hold it in, but I've never really felt it before, where tears, like, you really can't hold them in, like they just are really, really, really coming out of you. And after that point, I found it a lot easier. I found it a lot easier to cry after that point because I sort of knew what it was like. And I think that's probably why... Oh, shit. I don't have enough defense to do this yet. I think a part of that is why I find it so useful to talk about death. Because when I was face to face with it in that moment, I came away from it sort of with a greater view of life, more thankful for life, and more aware of, what it is that I stood to lose. And I appreciated art more. I appreciated my friends and family more. Yeah. And the thing is, it was a silly fight. It wasn't really over anything. That guy had just, he just had a lot of problems, and I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Something about that guy is that he was my friend, and then after that incident, but we stayed friends. We just kind of talked it out, and I knew him well enough that I knew that I wasn't in his heart, and he never did anything like that again. When I did the what was that game called? What was that game we played about the little game, the very creative one about dementia, about the woman who keeps forgetting? Just Roger. That's it. Was it Roger? Just Roger? Something like that? Roger, yeah. Well, I talked about a friend who took his own life. That was that guy. He was just a person who had a terrible go of it. A really terrible go of it. Whether he would have hit a lucky... and Roger, that's it. he just, never really hit a lucky break, where, went through so much more than he could, of course, more than he could deal with. And I think something that brings me comfort is thinking about the fact that even after that horrifying experience that he put me through, I don't, that's why, when I say that hell is empty, I know that human souls get lost down there. I know that there are demons down there, which is different. That's a different thing entirely. I know that there's so much more to a person than just the bad that they do. And so, he was young, he was quite young when he died, but I feel like I just know that he would have had, in some way, would have had a second chance, would have had a next life to look forward to. And there are lots of other people in my life who believe in these things. But, there's just some of the things that really have motivated me to do this today. It's nice, I think, to make a piece of art that's very emotional and that's very personal, because even though right now I'm sharing bits about my real life, when I'm making that ASMR, I feel like I can kind of put a lot of really stuff I really believe in, that I think can help people out into the world in a way that feels I don't know. It just felt good to do. It just feels good to make art that accesses that part of what we are afraid of. Akuma, thank you for the super. No, that's fine. No, the death in that ASMR is not me. That's just my idea of what death would be like. I like the idea that death is kind. I like the idea that, because in a way it is. It's so necessary. The idea that death is, I suppose in a sort of an artistic sense, it makes sense that death is this unstoppable horseman that is always coming after you, and you can't outrun it. And maybe to someone who is outrunning death, maybe that is how he appears. But to someone who, like you were, the listener in that ASMR, I'd like to imagine that death is just someone who knows when your time is and comes to make it easier for you to take that next step. I don't know. I think humanity has made me believe that the world is even though humanity does a lot of very awful things in some cases, humanity's made me believe that life is a much more beautiful thing and a much kinder thing that makes the world a lot kinder than I would have believed beforehand. Thank you very much for the super. I hesitated at first. You would handle it with care, and I'm glad I watched it live. That's good. I'm really glad. It's tough because when you're improvising something, it can be very easy to make a mistake. It can be very easy to sort of mess something about and do something wrong and maybe deliver a message that doesn't truly align with what you believe. But I'm glad that you guys think that I delivered something that was helpful and that was emotional in the right ways. Thanks, Clover, for the 20 gifted. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. I feel, I don't know, I think I was just immersed in the role, you know. I think I was just immersed in the character to the point where I'm like, Death wouldn't cry. He wouldn't be emotional at the thought of death because he's seen it so much and he knows it's nothing to be afraid of. And I knew it was nothing to be afraid of in that moment. So, you know, I'm not especially worried about that. At least not in character. In reality, death is a more complicated thing. But, you know, I think it's all right. We'll figure it out. We always do, right? It's just another day. I like the idea that it's just another day, but it's still meaningful. It's still important to him. Like every person he sees is just as important as the last. There's no such thing as a person being an annoyance, like, oh, I'm so tired, I want to do something else. He's too wise for that. Think of what I was you know what I was thinking of. Well, I think about what Gandalf said in Return of the King all the time, and I was trying to sort of deliver that sort of message without just, you know, ripping it off, because that's always what I think about. I think about how comforting it is to have someone like Gandalf, because Gandalf is so old and so wise, and so caring, and Gandalf always seems to know what to do. And so for a character like Pippin, who is so out of his depth, and he, you know, feels all of this desire to do the right thing, he's got such a big heart, but he can't seem to get it right. A character like Gandalf is, even though Gandalf berates him at first, that's exactly what he needs. He needs someone who can guide him, even if in that moment Gandalf doesn't know if they're going to survive. That's why he says death is nothing to be afraid of, because there's a chance they could have died in the battle. And I think I enjoy portraying death as that kind of person who is so infinitely wise and has seen so much that he could never be wrong. He could never mislead you. He could never make you feel anything less. I mean, he's made mistakes, but those are mistakes he's learned from by the time he arrives to help you. Tarochi, thank you so much for the super. I'm glad that you're here. Glad that you're here. It'll always make me happy. Coco, thank you for the super. Love you too. Interesting that he's not worn out. I mean, obviously death in that context is, you know, completely timeless and could never, you know, no one knows what it's like to have been around as long as him, apart from God himself. But I've been around a long time. I have met and seen a lot of people, and I have never once been tired of the idea of people. Maybe there might be like a day when I say, oh God, I just want some time to myself, you know? But that feeling doesn't last very long. I'll always be back, because it's what's so beautiful about human beings to me. There's just that you could never learn everything there is to learn. There will always be more to understand about people. There will always be more to learn. Faye, thank you for the super. Fear of death and struggles with grief on top of that. Oh, I'm really glad you liked it. I'm glad it was helpful for you. I think it's quite, something I think most people can sort of understand or relate to is a fear of death. I feel like it's so broad and so well understood. Because at some point everyone will die. And contending with that, it's very difficult to think about, isn't it? What must death be like? Can you imagine? You think about your struggles day to day, and then one day they won't matter anymore because you'll be dead. Gosh, it's terrifying to think about. But I guess if we think about, all these experiences and how ASMR is supposed to be comforting and relaxing, even if it makes you cry a lot, I think that it's so important to have something that makes you cry in a way that is comforting. It's like something that I think has given me so much resilience. It's thinking about, it's like I sort of spoke about interspecies friendship a little bit. And particularly animals that have empathy even for species that aren't their own. I'm always thinking about marine life these days, but I'm thinking about the way that humpback whales will deliberately put themselves in harm's way in order to save the lives of other animals. Because orcas, they hunt humpback whales. Or a pod of orcas could easily tire out and eat a humpback whale, but a humpback will see orcas hunting a seal or something and they'll get in the way. Fucking finally, I got unique. Jesus fucking Christ, finally. Holy shit. Sorry. So I think it's one of those things where I'm like, there is just no way that an animal raised and evolved in an environment where it needs to hunt and avoid predators to survive puts themselves in harm's way for something that isn't even their own child or family, purely because whether they want to get revenge on the orcas or whether they want to, it's like, I don't know. I think that all of it is just another pointer in the direction that, like, yeah, there is so much depth to the soul, and it's never worth worrying about death, because there will be more to experience, there will be more to see. Wednesday, thank you for the super. Back from NIJI fairs, it was so much fun. I guess I caught a cold. Aww. Posted two of the photos of us there. Hope you find that out later. I'd love to see it. I like the photos, they're very sweet. Very lively, thank you for the super. So much to say, but for now, thank you. Maybe you don't need to say anything. If you can't think of anything, just let your feelings speak for themselves. Thank you for the super, I love you too. I was at my uncle's funeral and I cried. Wasn't sad. Wasn't because the people made me cry. Well, I don't know why you cried, but the thing about grief is that it affects people for a very wide variety of reasons. And in the moment, not even we who cry, sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we don't quite know why that is. It's okay not to know why. I think every time we cry, we get a little closer to understanding ourselves a bit more. Why does water come out of our face when we're sad? We must have evolved that for a reason, right? Yukimi, thank you. It's funny, a lot of the artwork and stuff was very like, you know, edgy, and I like that. You know, I like that I kept you guys guessing, but yeah, it was always my idea to make it something that was very comforting. Cinema, I'm glad you liked it, Yukimi. I don't know which bloody thing to pick. Yeah, I think if we go down here, yeah. Greg, thank you for the super. Yeah, thank you for the assets. They're very nice. Mira's dad's hands, she let me use them as a reference. That is very funny. That's very funny. I'm sorry I didn't use the scythe, but it just wasn't the vibe I had in mind. But thank you for drawing it though. It was very nicely done. This is like the slowest Moons of Peril grind ever. I'm just pausing every 5 minutes to do some big long talk about something. I think I've done like 2 kills. Oh yeah, I don't need a net. I've got Barb Gathering this time. Fade, thank you for the super. I told you this. Help me cry on days I wanted to just bottle those feelings up. It's okay to, you know, be afraid of being vulnerable because, you know, it is kind of embarrassing. It is kind of embarrassing to be really vulnerable in front of people. You know, I wouldn't judge somebody for that. I'm just glad I could help though. You all help me feel a lot more in touch with my emotions and who I am. So I'm glad to help that. I'm glad to help you feel that too. Oh, I took out that, Jesus. Got any plans for next week? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Don't worry, don't worry. I'll post the schedule and I'll clue you guys in. Oh dear. Oh yeah, God, there's been so much happening. Yes, so for the 5th anniversary of NIJISANJI EN, we are going to do the 3rd episode of Niji EN Prov in 3D, which is very exciting. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to get a chance to do some improv, some acting, opposite my main man, my host Vandercrow Bringer, with some classic people who are going to participate. It's going to be great. So look forward to that. Mario Kart tournament, all kinds of fun stuff. It's going to be great. It's going to be so fun. You know something about the ASMR that kind of I don't know why I didn't expect this, but so I had that little cutscene made for if somebody brought up the topic of hell, because I thought it was more of something that people worried about. Like, I guess I thought someone might have made a joke about it or something like that. But then we had gotten to a certain point and like nobody had mentioned the concept of hell like ever, and I was like, okay, what do I do? So I kind of just had to bring it up. Like, oh yeah, by the way, because I was like, there's no way I'm not gonna. God, it's very rewarding. It's very rewarding to make little videos out of things. I wouldn't use it if we didn't talk about hell. No, I would have. Nobody brought up hell, so I brought it up. I brought it up just to be like, all right, we're getting towards the end of it, and no one's given me an excuse to play this thing yet, so I'm just going to pretend that somebody said something. I figured someone would have made a joke, you know, like yeah. I'm a devil child, I'm going to hell anyway, blah. And I would have been like, okay, well now I just take that completely seriously, right? But nobody did. But that's fine. It's like I was saying, it's very creatively rewarding to use stock footage to try and create stuff, because there's some really good stuff out there. There's some really, really artistically made stock footage out there. Like I see it and I'm like, oh, what a great image. And you know, if you put it together in a way that's like creatively honest and sort of, and it suits the mood, you know, maybe you like color corrected a tiny bit, yeah, it works. I liked portraying how sort of in this very general way, it's just sort of empty space, fire in places, not in others. Otaku, thank you. I struggled for the last 3 years. My aunt, my luggage, my sanity, and cried the most I ever have in that time. Glad I could have helped in any way. So glad. Thank you for the super. Love is the essence of everything we are. I believe that. I believe that to be true. I believe that to be true. Yeah, I think it's very beautiful. It's nice to believe in these things. It's nice to really feel like there's so much more to emotion, there's so much more to the heart. I think it's a very beautiful thing. Warflower, thank you very much. The idea of death isn't so scary now. Yeah. I think that you will, the less afraid you are of death, the more you will embrace life. The more that you will embrace opportunity and happiness and love. I really do believe that. I really do. Naichi, thank you for the Akusupa. Thank you. Didn't know what to expect. Put on a good pair of earphones. It was more than worth it. Glad to have given you some comfort today. You've given me some as well. Thank you. Hope you have a great day today. So yeah, I don't have much else to talk about today. I think that it was important to do this, obviously this little post chat, because with such a serious stream you need like to come down a little bit. You need to be able to relax a bit once it's over. I'm not going to end right now, but you know, I was setting that ASMR up all day. The thing about these ASMR streams is that it's kind of like I struggle to get started with them until the day that it happens, and then it's just, you know, that's my day. The whole day is getting those things set up. So even though it's only a couple of hours for the stream, it's a very full day for me. Oh, thank you. Apart from being a bit wild when you're drunk sometimes. Well, I mean, you know, that's what life is all about. I don't think that that being a wild crazy drunk, well, I guess it does make me less well behaved per se, but I don't think that you have to be well behaved to have a good heart. But it's a nice gesture. Thank you. Emotional support, ES, thank you so much for the 5 gifted, thank you. I mean, I don't put, it's like I put all of the music and the videos together the morning of, but the ideas, I've been coming up with the ideas for it all week usually. Usually if I get to the Sunday and I don't really have many ideas, that's when I'm like, oh, I'm fucked, you know, that's when I kind of don't really know what to do, and I struggle a little bit because it's like, oh man, I thought I had an idea, but I don't know if it's really coming together. I think that happens to everybody. I believe there's one scene from like Star Wars Episode 2 that George Lucas wrote when he was on his way to the set to film it, which is pretty funny. I feel like that's something I would do. I mean, it's kind of typical for a film student, but I think about 2001, A Space Odyssey quite a lot because, especially in relation to what we've discussed and learned today, is that that's a film that gets you to feel empathy for the death of a computer. When they, when they shut down HAL 9000, in his, he has no emotion in his voice when he begs to be let live. Stop, Dave. I'm afraid. I'm afraid, Dave. It's all he says, and it's the most heart-wrenching, like, horrifying thing. And so it makes you wonder about the nature of the soul. Obviously that's, that's fiction, but is Hal genuinely afraid, or is it simply parroting things that it think will get a human to leave it alone? I think that the point of that film is to question what the boundaries of humanity are. Does humanity go beyond species? Beyond flesh? Because really throughout that whole film you're kind of hypnotized into feeling sorry for a robot. You almost feel like a robot. You're like a surveillance camera. You're just seeing all of this monotonous data in the same way that a computer or a robot would. And so by the time you get there, Hal really is the protagonist of the story. There's a lot of reflection to be done. Even if Hal is just trying to say things that will get a human being to, leave him alone and let him live, would we not do the same if we were in that position? Does that mean we're not afraid? Rio, thank you for the super. Glad that you had a moment to reflect today. I think it's important we all do that sometimes. Oh, God damn it. Well, I guess it's the question of does he want to survive because he is conscious and he has feelings and loves to be alive, or does he want to survive because that's his programming, is that he's been programmed to do a mission, and so he thinks the best way to do the mission is to stay alive, and as such he's trying to. But is that not what we do? It's an interesting line to draw, and I don't think that there's supposed to be any one correct answer, but I always think about it. To me, I feel like I'm a very sentimental person, so I tend to feel empathy for a lot of things, even if I shouldn't. I get sentimental about old clothes. I have way too many clothes. I get so wound up at the thought of getting rid of clothes because I think, oh, but there was a day where I wore that. And I liked it. It was kind of comfy when I wore that one day. And that's it. And I'll be like, well, I can't throw that one out. And then I just... I'm very, very oddly sentimental, and I don't know if I can help it. It's just who I am. Just feeling happy. Happy to be alive, eh, guys? donating. Well, I have been donating a lot of clothes recently, to be fair. Wallflower, thank you for the super. Spreading kindness is something we should strive for. Making attachments and leaving a mark on life. Something to be happy for to your last breath. I think so too. I think so too. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Human beings are social animals on a biological level. You need each other. And I need you too. Sometimes I think maybe that's something that makes me feel so out of place and so unnatural. Maybe it's, you know, it's like lions and tigers. Lions are social animals and they hunt in packs and take care of the pack, whereas tigers are solitary animals and they mate, but they usually hunt alone, stay alone. They still love, you know, they feel emotion and attachment to their mate and to their cubs, but you know, fundamentally they don't have the pack group instincts that lions have. Maybe humans are social animals, but demons are solitary animals, and maybe I'm the exception. Maybe I'm just a bit of a genetic freak, you know, who shouldn't have, you know, sort of disrupting the natural order of things. I'm like, you know, all the rest of my kind are in the wild and I'm more of a zoo animal. But this is something I chose, and I would choose it again. I wouldn't choose to harm anybody if I ever could. Veronica, thank you. Oh. Yeah, of course it still hurts. That's okay. It's okay if it was too much. Maybe in a few years' time, something like that might make you feel better, but if it is too much, then that's okay. Lily, thank you so much for the super. Any emotions today? Overflowing with emotions. I guess that's true. You are literally overflowing. There's too many emotions and they're pouring out of you. I suppose so. Bacon, thank you very much for the gifted. Every once in a while you have to cry in the good way. There's no way around it. Trying to find some nice music. Ding 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 ding. I mean, that one's not super relaxing. It's nice, but oh, yeah, there you go. Very lively, thank you. After being so close to death, my way of life seemed to change. Every day I chose to do, to say things as soon as I could, being aware that I didn't know if I'd be able to do it later. Oh, it's okay. It's okay, you never need to worry. This is as much social interaction as I really get a lot of the time, is just hearing from all of you. If you want to hesitate and think about whether or not you should perk up in chat or send me a message or anything like that, just do it, you know? Every day is a blessing. Every day is something we should be thankful for. And I don't always live life that way. You know, I've wasted a lot of time doing a few different things. I've been playing bloody RuneScape. I mean, this game is a massive the amount of hours I've spent in this, the amount of days that have gone into this, but then again, you know, this game makes me happy. Sometimes I wonder, you know, would life be better if I spent more time working rather than playing video games? But then I imagine if I worked all the time, I'd be like, man, I wish I spent more of my life playing video games. So it's, you know, there's no real winning. You just sort of have to do your best. You know, it's like I always say, I think it's just, you know, it's the biggest thing that I want to kind of have for this community is a feeling of just general lightness and acceptance of people, and to not be intimidating or scary, so that, you know, even if you don't fully understand English, even if you're not 100% sure if you should go ahead and say something to just make you feel comfortable enough to know that even if you do, it's not going to be the end of the world if you make a mistake or get it wrong. It's like, obviously there's bad faith, you know, rule breaking, but I can tell the difference between that and somebody who just didn't know better. Make mistakes will always be part of learning. Yes, the boppers. Yes, finally. Oh, look at it, the boppers. Oh my god. See, this is why life is great. This is why life is worth living, because you get this. I can finally ditch the Addy longsword. Yes. Now we have 1, 2, 3 multi-hit weapons. Oh, this is about to go crazy. What's the special attack again? No, I did not spill my water, don't worry. Cindy, thank you for the super. I love you too. You're welcome. Glad I could help. Mylene, thank you. They're at 3 AM to give newborn piglets. Oh, that's so cute. My chicks are grown now and the rooster attacks me because... That makes sense, you know. They are his females. So, you know, during breeding season you've got to be careful. But obviously it's your job. You're being very brave looking after them. Tokito, thank you for the Aku Super. Thank you so much. Mwah. I hope you have a lovely rest, okay? Thank you for taking care of me today. Thank you so much. Sunny, thank you so much for the super. In the past 2 days, I've been experiencing bad news after bad news. It's not even about people, but about multiple lost things to grief. Mind almost left my body. Felt so soft after the meeting with the gentlest Grim Reaper. I'm sorry that you've been experiencing a lot of hardships. I'm sorry that things haven't been easy for you recently. If there's anything I've learned, it'll always get better. It always will. You don't know how or in what way, but it always, always, always gets better. I'm glad I could have helped you get through this time so that you could see when it gets better. Always appreciate hearing from you, Sunny. I hope you feel better soon. I really do. Oh man, fuck's sake. Oh, I fucked up. I gotta do that again now. Born 12 hours. Oh, baby. Oh my god, they're so little, baby piglets. Oh, so cute. Thank you for choosing an asset Ryan Gosling approved. It looks intimidating, but your delivery was very considerate. See, I like that. It's a very appealing type of character to me, as someone who looks very scary, but who is extremely gentle. Maybe it's why I've taken so much to sharks recently and find them so sweet and lovely. Not sure if I would swim with sharks. Well, it depends on the shark. Remember that sharks account for a very small amount of deaths every year. Much, much smaller than you would think. Generally speaking, swimming with sharks is kind of safer than a lot of things you could do. Gonna do drastically different choices? Yeah, I mean, for this account I've picked only relics I didn't pick last time. Butler's Bell is really nice. Butler's Bell has been great. I kind of just want to go through and do the melee route and just sort of have fun. The big thing I'm doing this time, I'm going to pick Flow State. I've decided already I'm going to pick Flow State. I don't care if it's worse than Reloaded, I'm picking Flow State just because I want to. You know, this is just me dicking around in my spare time, having a bit of fun with a character that I didn't play the first time. Okay, I think it's super. Oh, Sunday roast, lovely. Life is beautiful. It is. Life is a beautiful thing. You get to have roasties. You get to enjoy nice food. What a beautiful thing. What a beautiful thing life is. Yeah, sharks are lazy. They don't want to overuse energy. So if there's any fish that's gonna like be too much effort for them to catch, like, you know, their instinct is to conserve energy. So of course, why would they? It's one of the reasons why, you know, predators with specialized diets tend not to hunt humans, because humans tend to be, you know, very bony and not very high in calories, and so they think, well, that's going to be a waste of my time and energy. I don't want to do that, and they just don't do it. Of course, we're talking about unprovoked attacks. Like if you go up to a shark and start harassing it, it's probably gonna bite you. Yeah, they're gonna be fed for free later, so it's like, yeah, whatever. Same thing as, well, not really, but similar-ish to crocodiles. Is crocodiles, they don't really want to do anything. They don't really want to do anything until they know they need to, and they save energy the rest of the time. No, thank you for the super. My favourite line was, until you're ready to feel the hard parts again. Let me wake up and feel the hard and wonderful parts in my life again. You are my sunshine. Oh, it's so sweet. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad I came out with that, because I think that's what it's all about. Like, life is filled with hardship and suffering, but it is worth feeling those hardships. It is worth going through the worst of it, because that's how we grow. It's how we appreciate everything. Yeah, it's like, I remember listening to this one audiobook once. It's like, if I go to heaven, can I just eat all of the best food in the world every day? Can I eat my favorite food every day? Well, yeah, you can. But then after a while, that food is just going to start tasting like cardboard. And it's like, oh, okay, well, if I could do anything in heaven, I want to have lots of sex. I want to have sex with all the supermodels. I want to do whatever. And it's like, you know, that's probably going to be great for a while. But after a while, it's going to feel like you're having sex with cardboard. This is why suffering is so important in a way. I feel like I wouldn't be anywhere near as strong of an artist as I am if I hadn't been through stuff that I had thoughts about that I wanted to share with people. No cardboard feeling in heaven. I mean, that would, you know, that's just speaking from a human perspective. I'd like to believe in the afterlife. You know, nothing ever gets old, no diminishing returns, everything's beautiful forever. But we don't know. Maybe it's better to attack with the tick battle, so you're using slash. Angelia, thank you for the Aku Super. Used to be terrified of long haul flights. Listen to me until you fell asleep. Oh, that's so cute. Always made me feel safe. Yeah. I'm glad I can make you feel safe. There's nothing to be scared of on a long haul flight. You know, whenever I speak to someone who is like scared of flying or scared of a plane crash or anything like that, I always think it's helpful to remember that, like, there are some airlines that have been operating for many decades that have never had a crash. Literally ever. I think British Airways in particular has, like, I believe they have had, like, small minor emergency landings where it's like, oh, they took off and there was a problem, so they turned around and came back and landed perfectly fine. I think they've done that like once or twice. But yeah, flying Flying is very safe. You've got nothing to worry about, but I know sometimes we can feel fear for things that don't always make sense, and I'm always happy to help make sure you feel better. Aini, I love you too, okay? Really like narwhals. A few days ago I saw someone selling its horn on thread, like legally selling it. Yeah, it's really sad. It's really sad to see stuff like that, but I have hope because conservationists have had a lot of success with certain species in the past, and they will again. If we remember to look at death like we have done today, yes, it's terrible that an individual animal, was sold just for its horn or its tooth or anything like that, hunted for sport or anything like that. Every time something like this happens, the anger that we feel promotes it promotes more passion, more pushback. So it is terrible that these things happen, but one day I'm sure these things will change. It's like how humpback whales used to be on the absolute verge of extinction. Like they were essentially as good as extinct. There were, there were very, very few. When industrial whaling was a big thing, in the 18 and 1900s and the early 1900s, whaling was a big deal. And humpback whales very nearly went extinct. But now, thanks to the efforts of conservationists and the Marine Mammal Protection Act, among other things, there are now well over, I think, going on either 150 or 200,000 humpback whales in the wild. Like they're one of conservation's biggest success stories. If there's the potential for that, I'm sure that every species, we can't be complacent, and action is needed. But I have hope. I have hope that things can be sorted out. I'm not saying be apathetic, but I'm saying have hope. I'm saying believe. Yeah, pandas. It's a big misconception. Some people believe that pandas are just useless and they don't mate and all of that, but it's not true. Pandas in the wild, perfectly capable. It's just a common misconception. They're incredible animals. Man, bro, when I get soft clay. Yeah, my account name is Vox Akuma, but then I've realized recently it should probably be called Vox Atuma. Like just putting the two where it would rhyme with ku. But then it makes it sound like tumor, and it's not a tumor. Teresia, thank you very much for the gifted. It's very nice of you, thank you. Well, I hope everyone's feeling a lot better. I hope everyone's feeling, a little bit healed today. Whether you cried, whether you didn't, whether you feel better or worse, hopefully you felt something. Hopefully you engaged with this and felt, You know, felt like you grew a little bit, felt like you learned something about yourself, about the world. I get really inspired when I get the ideas to do these sorts of things, and I'm really glad I've been doing more of them recently. I want to keep doing it. I'm really glad recently that I feel like I've had a really strong direction. I feel like there's so much that I can do. And I only ever want to do it with you and to make you proud. Very lively, thank you. Where do you point when you say me? To your heart, right? No, I do. I love you too. It's the heart that really matters in the end. Yes, thank you for the super. Glad I can make your life a little brighter. Really, you've got yourself to thank. It's not just about the things that make your life better, it's about you being able to see the value that they bring. Faith, thank you for the super. Definitely did have a good cry. Eyes are all puffy. Aww. It's okay to cry. I'm glad you cried. Probably was some much needed catharsis. Glubs, thank you for the super. Yeah, it's really important. You know, you never know what in life is gonna kind of make a difference. You never know what's gonna be something that changes you. Oh shit. I kinda hate this boss. The lifesteal is just ugh. Who remembers last leagues where I was getting pissed off at this fucking guy? Ugh. 39 KC, oh my god. Can't wait to get rid of this fucking Addy plate body, Jesus Christ. You got 1 HP? Oh, gloves. That's happened to me too many times. It's just, yeah, you get hit with some bad RNG. Not a lot you can do. Just gotta get back to the grind. Glad to know so many of you have been having fun playing the game though. It always brings a smile to my face. for the super. I'm glad it felt good for you. Love you too. Yeah, I feel emotional too. It's been nice. It's been nice to just get to feel that with everybody. Plans for my next LP? You know, I don't know. They always just sort of come to me in the most unexpected times. You know, I got the idea for this one because I saw a TikTok with a polar bear in it. It happened to have a Sigur Rós song, and I was like, oh, yeah, I like this music. This kind of gives me an idea, and then there it was. Who knows, eh? But when I knows, you will knows. Angelia, thank you for the super. Oh, I'm sorry you have a headache. Yeah, you make sure you get some sleep, okay? It's alright. Otsu, mate, Aini. Hope you have a really, really nice sleep, okay? Say, thank you very much for the super. I love you too. Sleep well, okay? Lily, thank you. With all my emotion, I just don't know what to say. I'm glad you've been thinking about it a lot. Anything that kind of gets you to think, gets you to really, really, really think about life, and that makes me happy. Oh, it dumped me right on top of one of those fucking... Jesus. Plans for the week? Yeah, I got a few plans. Don't worry about it. I have a lot of fun stuff planned. You know, Kindred Day is coming up. Gotta have a day to celebrate with each other. Should hopefully be better than last year's Kindred Day, where I was in a hotel with terrible internet and was in bed and really sleepy. Although that stream was kind of cozy at the same time. I didn't really mind it. Will I continue talking about Dash Life? I think I will. I think I will. I need to know how the clawed elephant seal situation resolves itself. I need to know what goes on. Pelican. That's the sound I make sometimes. Vanessa, thank you. Draws me in so much, feels like a movie. Oh, thank you. I'm really glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, I've done a few ASMRs like that. I'm not sure how much you might have listened before, but there's quite a few that have like some serious themes like that. So, you know, I'll always be looking to make more and to, you know, really try and engage with people on a, you know, on an artistic level like that. Faith, I would like to do something like that, I think. It's something I would need to spend some time, like, you know, making sure I get all the facts right on, making sure I'm giving, like, really good advice and things like that. Wouldn't want to rush, but, yeah, I'm not opposed to the idea. Come on, motherfucker. Yeah, for me, I think that, you know, when I first started on this channel, there was a lot of, like, people who wanted me to make a lot of ASMR, but I think over the years it's become, you know, it is ASMR in a way, but it's almost like a Trojan horse where I can kind of flex my creative muscles and make something that's more like an art project that I want to do. There's nothing wrong with liking regular ASMR, but I like it as a way of getting people to engage with a story they might not otherwise have been interested in. I find this is a lot of the time how art works. You know, if you want to be successful, you kind of have to trick people into watching something they wouldn't otherwise check out. It's like why I'm really excited about some of the new DC movies coming out, because what they've got is that Clayface movie. Like, it looks pretty scary. It looks like they're saying, like, this is a horror movie. What they're doing is they're making an indie, not an indie, but, you know, like in the style of sort of a modern horror movie, but, you know, they're packaging it in a DC wrapping so that more people will see it. And I say more power to them. I think it's just a really smart idea. Waiting for the day that someone like Mr. Beast fucking releases a video with the same thumbnail and everything is normal, but then it becomes like some big like story ARG type thing. I mean, he would never do that, but, you know, that's what I would do if I was him. Clayface movie looks fucking spooky. That trailer, God, some of the imagery there, it actually really kind of affected me. I think body horror, man. I don't know, I felt like in the substance the body horror was effective, but it didn't leave me feeling like horrified, you know? But Clayface looks pretty horrifying to me, I don't know. 1,000 players Minecraft survival video. I mean, not really, kind of. I guess it's like that was more of that story sort of happened on its own. You know, that was like it wasn't really planned for there to be a big story. It just happened because of the players, which is, you know, equally worth watching. I mean, it was a great experience. Obsession. I do want to watch Obsession. I've heard it's very, very good. These damn jaguars showing up. Are you kidding me? Of course all my blind bag hits come out on these guys that don't actually damage the boss. I'll find the boss. No, blind bag just wants to sit in the blind bag. Come on. Let this be a unique. Come on. God damn it. Alright guys, I think I need to log off for the night. It's been a full day. I need some time to get my schedule done for tomorrow. I need to eat something and just need a bit of time to unwind because that was emotionally pretty taxing for me too, but worth it. You know, really worth it. So I hope you guys had fun this week. We did some great streams. We had a lot of fun together, and I'll be back next week. So remember, there was no puzzle today, but you're not off the hook yet. Alright? So be ready, because I'm going to hit you with something pretty soon, and we'll see how you handle it. Okay? So thank you all very much for your time, your patience, and for engaging with things that you might not necessarily chosen to before. Life is all about experiences, so let's keep experiencing things together. Alright? I love you very much, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye now. The screen is loading, I can't end stream. Okay, bye-bye.